investigation of these circumstances and everything. And now on the internet, there are many, many persons who have conducted various investigations and various analysis of whispers and other statements, and it's basically being discussed amongst many devotees. Now, as far as to how to understand the position of a pure devotee, there's a lot of statements from Prabhupada, different conversations. The reason I brought up this point about Lord Jesus Christ and his resurrection, because Prabhupada said his body was completely spiritual. Otherwise, how could he be resurrected? He was not an ordinary jiva. Prabhupada called him a Shakti Avisha avatar, or an especially empowered soul that basically was able to do what he did in his mission. Similarly with Srila Prabhupada, I mean, those of us at the end, we saw Prabhupada was hardly eating and coming to know what we did not know then. I mean, he was obviously protected by Krishna. But again, being protected by Krishna does not mean that some envious person or some bewildered persons will not try to harm a pure devotee. For example, in the case of Ramanujacharya, when he started to preach to his teacher, and his teacher, who was an Advaitin, a Mayavadi, could not defeat the arguments of Ramanuja. When they went on a pilgrimage, the teacher tried to kill Ramanuja. They tried to poison him. So there's a lot of instances. I mean, in the Mahabharata, in the beginning of the 5 Pandavas, they tried to poison Bhima. The Pandavas, the house where they were living was set on fire, the house of lac. So there's a lot of different incidents in Vedic literature, the case of Prahlad Maharaj, the case of Haridas Thakur, the case of Jesus Christ. One can't say, well, since a pure devotee is always protected by Krishna, so it's impossible that such... No, it's not impossible for people to become envious of a pure devotee. It happens. Bewildered, ambitious persons will do crazy things. Just like we discussed earlier, how some caste Brahmins in Navadvip, caste Goswamis, were willing to pay a police officer 25,000 rupees in those days, in the beginning of the 19th century, to have Bhaktisiddhanta killed. And Bhaktisiddhanta told the story to Srila Prabhupada. So it doesn't mean that Bhaktisiddhanta was not protected by Krishna, but it means that some persons, bewildered by the influence of Maya, may try to harm a pure devotee. So we have to understand from that perspective. But there's a lot. There is a devotee in England named Mahesh Raja. I don't know if any one of you know him, but he's written quite a few things about this issue, and he's compiled different articles of how to understand the position of a pure devotee and how a pure devotee is protected by Krishna. Another thing that we have to consider is a pure devotee is always tolerant. A sadhu is not disturbed, he is always tolerant. So this is a very important point, because some people will say, well, why didn't Prabhupada protest? Why didn't Prabhupada identify the persons who made doing such a misdeed? Well, Prabhupada is not an ordinary person. He was very tolerant. He was a topmost Paramamsa. And we'll leave it at that for now. Hare Krishna.